So today's episode is vulnerability with spouse, but we kind of freestyling this shit.
Alrighty.
Cause there's some comments that were said a few weeks back that I wanted to address, cause I thought it was funny. Just didn't get an opportunity to, you know. But we're gonna do something a little different with the show. Kind of gives you a opportunity to talk a little bit more, and me to talk a little bit less, because I've been stressed, not unblessed, just stressed. But I forgot what I was gonna say. Welcome to WitChaOlAsxPodcast. My young old ass and my co-host here bring you topic of discussions, difference of opinions, and we bring in different perspectives, checking in on the mental well-being and health of others when they're here and also each other. So, if you allow my young old ass and my co-host to borrow your ears for a brief second, we'd gladly appreciate it. Because I am your host, Tay Nicole.
And I'm Pac Manley, your co-host.
And together we are
With your old ass podcast.
I blew it.
It's all right.
It's been a minute since we did it. It's been a couple weeks since we shot an episode.
It's been a couple weeks.
Let me try that again. Because I am your host, Miss Tay Nicole.
And I'm your co-host, Pac Manley.
And together we are
With your old ass podcast.
Man, I feel like we've been gone for so long. And they only missed one episode. That's the crazy thing. They only missed one episode, but I feel like we ain't did the show in so long, man. Like,
you can say it was kind of like a holiday break.
It was something. Life been lifing, man. We back. One episode hiatus. You know, it may randomly not get episode 1 week and then you randomly might. It just kind of depends on what be happening in life and how life be lifing. And we're not getting paid for this shit. So, you know, maybe 1 episode, 2 episodes a month moving forward. I don't know just yet. We'll see how life be lifing for us. Cause yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. As always, we do the check-in. It's where we open, honest, and vulnerable about whatever's been going on in the world. As y'all know, I'm very open and honest, and I keep it funkadelic real. But before I get to jumping into my check-in, let's jump into the check-in. And let's check in. Pac, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. You know, can't complain about anything.
Word.
You know, it's Happy New Year.
How you feeling mentally?
Mentally, I'm doing good.
That's good.
How about yourself?
I'm everywhere mentally. Life has literally been life, and these panic attacks and anxiety and stress been whooping my ass. It's been trying to take complete control of my life, and for the first week or two, I think it was winning, just because I couldn't pull myself up by my bootstraps. And
get up, Craig.
Okay. So real quick, life is being serious, but real quick, that bootstraps comment. If you don't watch Zatima, you wouldn't get why I was about to laugh. So it's an episode in Zatima season 4 where Bryce, Angela, Zach, Fatima, Preston, and Deja sitting at the table eating dinner. And Bryce makes a comment about how Zach didn't fall into the racism cry. He pulled himself up by his bootstraps. And everybody at the table went, "Ooh!" And Fatima said, "I know you didn't just bootstraps my man." But if you look up the history of bootstraps, you'll get why she was offended by Bryce saying that. But that's why I said it, because it just, you know, anyway. But no, I just been going through a lot. And luckily I have a supportive job that has been trying to do their best to make sure that I'm supported the best way I can be and make sure I can still go to work and collect them checks. Cause one thing that don't stop is bills. Bills don't got no pause button. Cause if it did, I'd pause my bills, rack this money up, and then resume back after I got this money.
I don't know if I'd hit the unpause button.
I mean, your bills probably can still continue though, even if you.
Damn, that's right. I ain't think about. Damn it, there's no point of the pause button then.
I mean, give you temporary release of stress, I guess. I don't know.
They're just gonna add up.
True. I probably never hit the unpause button either. Now I think about it, I just hit unpause when I'm 6 feet under. He was gonna be like, "God damn!"
On the deathbed, like, you know what?
No, I ain't gonna hit unpause on the deathbed. It's gonna unpause automatically. They're gonna be like, "Oh, she gone." They're gonna be like a lifetime worth of bills. Yeah, no, but
you know what Tupac said? I'll leave my wife, my last name, and my debt.
I ain't heard Tupac say that, but it's okay. Yeah, life's been life. Mental health has been mental healthing. I made some great steps to try to help with what I'm going through. Got a therapist. First session is this Saturday, so excited for that. The healing journey is a scary journey. Healing is scary, especially when you feel like your whole world is crushing and caving in on you, and you feel like you are climbing your way out of it. You know, Mom, she likes to say that she thinks that part of my issues might stem from me wanting to be somewhere that I'm not, and I feel like I should be there, but I don't think that's it. I was at first I was like that might be it, but that could be a small portion of it. I don't know. I think, to be honest, the real big T is I'm afraid to die.
Aren't we all?
I'm afraid to die. I've said that so much, you know, like, oh, I'm not afraid of dying, and then like when I hit 30, it was like, shit, am I having a midlife crisis already?
Yeah, that could be. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I am. Just learning how to, because like I said, every decade of your life you learn how to deal with differently. When you turn 10, you learn how to deal with your teenage years different. When you turn 20, you deal with your 20s different. And I just turned 30, so maybe I'm just needing to learn how to navigate my 30s, and hopefully by my 40s, I'll be in that period of fuck that shit. And and when I mean a completely fuck that shit, because right now I'm in a fuck it. Fuck it is more like you still kind of gotta deal with it, but you just trying to learn differently. Fuck that shit is like Ray Charles to it.
All right. And then after that, it's that old people, I don't care what I say, come out my mouth shit.
Facts. So, I don't know. Any advice for the people, Pac?
You know what I always say?
Mind your business and you live longer.
And drink water.
Me, my advice is still going to be, if you're struggling with anything, mental health, your health, whoever you pray to them, but also make sure you go seek professional assistance. That's the big key point in this daytime, is to seek medical attention and professional attention for your needs to ensure that you can live a long, healthy life. Don't let it win.
And don't be afraid to ask people for help.
That too. Definitely don't be afraid to ask people for help.
Especially if you have a nice, caring, supportive group, you know. Because they will always be there. Excuse me, sorry about that. They will always be there to have your back, like you're always there to have their back.
Facts.
So
this episode hopefully won't take too long. I'm shooting for about 30 to 45 minutes, mainly because I watched some of my previous episodes that I did on Real Talk with Tay, and I also watched some of our previous episodes, and I realized I was rambling because I was spiraling. Even though some of what I said was making sense, a lot of it, I wasn't forming it the way I wanted to. So I was losing control. And I noticed that, like, as I was rewatching some of the stuff. Now, that don't mean what I said I didn't mean, and that don't mean what I said was necessarily wrong. It's just the way it came out. It spiraled the wrong way. So that was another flag that my mental health was declining. And the crazy thing is, you would think someone with such a strong supportive system, their mental health wouldn't necessarily decline. But I realized that 5 years of trauma at one employer and one employment, and then 20 plus years of life trauma piled on top of you. Once you find the peace you're looking for, you have to fight for it. You know, I found a good supportive job. Now I have to fight for that supportiveness. And it sounds crazy to have to fight for it, but I feel like that's what I got to do. I feel like I have to fight for it. You know, like, this shit stemmed from just me having post-traumatic stress about getting in a car from car accidents. This shit spilled over into my day-to-day life, where literally for 2 weeks I was in my room. I wasn't coming out. I was in that room. If it wasn't to eat, if it wasn't to use the bathroom, I was in that room. I wouldn't come out at all. I made myself work on one screen for work because I did not want to come out that room. And today it really hit me because I went from 181 pounds in November to 171 as of today.
Damn.
I lost 10 pounds. And that was because I wasn't eating. Wasn't doing shit right. But depression takes a toll on you. And like, when I was going through my depression a few years back, I was eating a lot. Now this depression that I'm dealing with, it took away my appetite to where now I have to rebuild it. You know what I mean? But that's my advice to y'all. That's my advice to y'all. Is don't be afraid. You're not alone. You don't have to fight it alone. If I start crying, it's okay. I'm just really starting to realize that I was hurting myself more than I was helping myself. And that's real life, man. It really took for me to sit back and realize, you hurting yourself. You're not helping yourself. You don't want to ask for help. You don't want to tell people you're hurting. You just want to go, 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 go. And when you fucking crashed, the same people you were afraid to ask for help for were the same people there to try to help pick you back up. Man, depression is a motherfucker.
It is. It is.
But don't take this as I'm some weak ass bitch, because I'm not, just because I'm crying. I still got these hands for you.
I'm sorry. Oh.
And listen, my strength has gotten real good, because I'm not even going to cut that part out. I'm going to keep it in. But I don't cry. I usually don't cry. I usually hold that shit in. And if I cry in private, or I cry when it's just me and you. And I rarely cry in front of you. I usually go somewhere else and just cry for a minute. Just because I don't want anybody to see me at my weakest or my lowest. But like I said, I realized I ain't been helping myself. I've been hurting myself. And when I seen how much weight I lost today, I said, holy shit. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong. I look at being 171 pounds isn't bad. It's actually good for my height. I'm 5'8". It's actually good for my height. It's just that I'm losing muscle mass is what I'm losing. Because I was in the gym a lot. Like, I was going to the gym at least 2-3 days out the week, and my thighs was growing that muscle, you know what I'm saying? And then this shit happened. The next thing you know, which is like, what is this? We in January, right?
Yep.
So that means I lost like 3.5, 4.5 pounds in October, November ish, between there, and then maybe 5 pounds in December, and maybe 2 or 3 pounds this month so far is what I lost. But depression ain't gonna win. Anxiety ain't gonna win. And your bald headed ass mom ain't gonna win either.
Well, damn.
No, but like I said, ain't nothing wrong with being real.
It's not. It's not. You know, I dealt with my own depression in my own way. Um, Especially when my mother passed. You know, that was one of the closest people to me.
Oh,
Obviously.
by the way, Wolf said he hopes you're doing all right throughout this process.
Oh, I don't want to get into that joke, but thank you, Wolf. But yeah, like my depression was drinking and smoking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah, my weight varied and whatnot, but I'm not gonna lie, meeting you and everything
Mm-hmm.
helped me get out of that depression.
Yeah, because I cut that drinking out real quick.
Well, yeah, it was the beer
Mm-hmm.
that I was getting that beer gut, but also it was just, you know, being alone a lot. You know what I'm saying? Living, even though I was living with three of my older cousins, I was still alone, like
Yeah.
putting myself in my room. And then when I get off at work, when I get off work, go home, they're asleep. So, you know, and then moving from being in the house with them to getting my own apartment and being alone in there, you know, that definitely wasn't helping. And
Yeah.
then who pops up?
And it's crazy because this goes into our topic of discussion. Um, which our topic of discussion is,
Vulnerability with your spouse?
yeah, as you can see, I'm very vulnerable with mine. Um,
I'm not. I'm hard as rock. No, I'm playing
and kind of
balls.
vulnerable, pause, big pause, and kind of vulnerable with you guys too. But um, it's important to have vulnerability with your spouse. It's important because without it, you know, you do become this tough, hard shell that hardens up so much that eventually your heart becomes stone,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel hollow on the inside. You know, like you can hear a pin drop in on the inside because you don't have that outlet. You know, and vulnerability usually starts with your spouse if you have one. If you don't have a spouse, then usually your vulnerability is with a sibling or a parent or a best friend or somebody you can confide in, right? Um, but for me, I would say I was always my family's like go-to person. Every time something went wrong, I was who they called. Every time they needed something, I was who they called. And it took me to go this long to realize that shit been breaking me,
Mm.
you know? Um, I do believe Brandon's right about the PTSD with the car situation though.
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
think he's right about that though. I think I do have a little PTSD when driving. I've had a lot of bad accidents. None of them my fault, but I've had a lot of bad accidents. So he might be right about the PTSD thing, and that could be what the problem is. But hopefully, fingers crossed, between the therapist and my doctor, we can figure out a solution. And I could be back on that road whipping it like I used to. Amen.
And I was kind of thinking over. I was thinking like stuff that happened like over the past 2 months.
Yeah.
You know, was a contribution as well.
Yeah, that's what Mama said. She said, think about everything that literally just
Happened
happened.
over past 2 months.
Like,
Yeah.
like the amount of things that I'm 30. If I was to write a book of all the trauma I've experienced as a 30-year-old. A normal 30-year-old would be like, how the fuck are you not in a loony bin by now? Because as a 30-year-old, there's a lot of things that I've seen, dealt with, been through, had done to me that I wouldn't wish on my worst nightmare. But there's some good in my life though. Don't take it the wrong way. There's some good in my life. But Jesus fix it. That's who I call on.
And then also with, getting back on the topic, vulnerability. If you're not vulnerable with your spouse, you're not letting them see, the true you. You're not being real with them and true with them. You're hiding something from them that, if that person's going to be around you, for, let's say, the rest of y'all lives, that's something that you should probably, because you never know, they might have an ugly crying face.
Because I definitely got an ugly crying face. Y'all gonna probably see it too. I'm gonna clip it if I can.
Not to say that everybody has a pretty crying face or something, but
yeah, because we all know a miscarry, baby. Not Hills, but Washington. Kerry Washington does not have.
yes. But you got to be vulnerable with your spouse. Pretty sure she can count on her hands how many times she done seen me cry. Maybe more, maybe toes too.
No, not really.
Not to say I'm a big cry baby or anything like that, but
honestly, no. I probably can use maybe a hand and a half because you don't really cry like that. You express your emotions, or you'll not suppress, but you'll find the right way to get them out, and then you'll talk about it. But I turned into a crybaby. Like in these past few years, I've been boo-hooing and too-hooing.
I'm sorry, this is
because
taking me a little bit.
Okay, so here's a little background. My very first time losing a sibling, I was 7 years old. So that's over 23 years ago. And the day he died, I didn't know he died. I thought he was just sleeping in the hospital, was coming home like normal. So I didn't think nothing of it. It wasn't until the day of his funeral that I realized he really wasn't never coming back. And I never cried. Not one tear. Not in front of anybody. I sat there, did my feet like this, looked around, was trying to figure out. And granted, I was seven. I was trying to figure out what everybody was crying about. I was, still in my brain as a child, thinking, "Oh, he just getting ready to take a nap. I don't know why we in here watching him sleep." Still thinking that because I was trying to block it out. I knew he was gone, but I was trying to block it out as a child and think, he coming back. This which leads into that vulnerability with. I didn't have a spouse back then, so I had to be vulnerable with somebody, right? No. So meeting you and learning that I could be myself with you is what opened up my vulnerability with you. Because even I could be myself, my best friend, my siblings, my mom, my stepdad, my niece and nephews, I never felt comfortable being vulnerable with them 100%. Well, except my mama. Scratch that. My mama, yes. My siblings, it grew on me to be vulnerable with them. Started learning how to just have some honesty. You know what I mean? My best friend, that's my ride or die, both of them. Actually, all three of them. And I can tell all three of them anything and be vulnerable and not, feel judged or feel, incompetent or out of place or like something's wrong with me. You know what I mean? But from 7 till about 24, I had never cried about losing my brother. 17 years. I had never cried. Unless my mother cried. Somebody else had to cry in order for me to cry. But I never cried myself for him. And it wasn't because I didn't love him. It's because I thought I had to be the strong one in order for everybody else to feel vulnerable for me. For them to come to me, because I didn't think vulnerability was my thing. I thought once my brother died, he was the oldest, I'm the baby. I thought I had to take the armor that he carried, because everybody else was comfortable with being vulnerable with me, but I wasn't comfortable being vulnerable with anybody else. So when I met you, it was hard for me to be vulnerable with you, not only because of that, but because of the past relationships I had before you. So I think just you making it comfortable for me is what opened up the door of vulnerability. You know?
I'm just a big teddy bear.
Yeah. And that's just my portion for topic of discussion. We're gonna move on to different opinion once I find if Pac has anything else to say.
No, I don't think now that when you said past relationships, I got to thinking about my past relationships. I think maybe one or two ex girlfriends have probably seen me cry, and it would probably be like one time each from maybe homeboys passing or maybe a relative passing, but
Yeah.
that's about it.
And just for the record, that cry in the beginning was 100% real. I can't cry on cue. I would be a horrible actress because I can't cry on cue. I don't know how Taraji P do it. They said she can cry on cue. I can't.
You know, why would people want to cry on cue like they shoot at will? Sorry.
I was trying to follow it, but I lost it. Um, but for difference of opinion, as y'all know, we spend 3 to 5 minutes giving our difference of opinion on the topic of discussion. Um, you want to go first? You want to go?
Sure, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Um, like I said earlier, it's good to be vulnerable with your spouse, with hell, not even just your spouse, just people that you hold dear to you. You know, best friends, close relatives, your spouse. Have your children if you got them. It's crying is good for the soul, and I know we're talking about being vulnerable. It's not always just crying. It's also being completely honest with yourself and them at the same time, where you can sit down and have an honest discussion without, in your mind, that person's not going to judge me for what I'm saying, or how I'm acting or how I am, because, they should, or they love me and cherish me the way I am, regardless of anything. And if they don't, maybe you need to get them out your life because, it's a little poison prick waiting to happen. Poison prick. That's a little poison waiting to happen off in the background.
Yeah.
I had a friend back in the day, that I thought I could be vulnerable with, and when I did, it was that poison prick. Literally, that person would, that's this dude, he da da da, he told me this, told me that, and da da da, said this, and cried on my shoulder like he was a big baby. It's like, damn, you did the same thing, but I ain't going around telling people. But I was more loyal than that person. That's probably why that person's not in my life no more. Then again, I am all the way down here in Kansas City. Well, that still don't matter anyway, because there's people back in Minnesota I speak with. But yeah, always, if you feel comfortable enough to be around a person for a length of time, you should feel comfortable about being vulnerable around them. But, I think that's about it.
Okay.
For me.
And to touch base on the whole distance thing, one of my big dogs is always in Dallas. Okay. And one thing about her I love is this woman knows what I'm battling. And she sends me scriptures, which I need to finish watching those videos she sent me. But she sends me scripture, she sends prayers, she sent me videos of uplifting things, and she's doing everything that I would do for her and that I have done for her tenfold, and I start to understand that sometimes when people are at a peak or in the middle of their healing process, sometimes you can reach back and grab somebody and help pull them forward to help them go through their healing process without losing your grip on your growth. Because at some point when you start to slip, you gotta let go and then continue your journey, right? And I realized that when she reached back and came back for me. Because as she was healing, I was helping her heal. And then I lost my grip and I slipped, which is okay. We all gonna slip. And this is why when you mention being vulnerable with more than just your spouse, even though this topic is about vulnerability with the spouse, sometimes your spouse is not enough. And it sounds jacked up, but it's the truth. Sometimes your spouse is not enough for you to be vulnerable with because they have their own healing and their own vulnerabilities that they have to deal with. So sometimes, yes, we do have to grab different hands. But one thing to make sure is that while you grabbing other hands, you looking back to see who else is wanting the help, needing the help, and is willing to pull themselves up and is trying to pull themselves up. Because if you're reaching for somebody who's still reaching for the bottom, they're going to pull you back down.
Crabs in a barrel.
So you gotta. That's one thing about vulnerability that I'm learning. You know, it's not always the tears. Sometimes vulnerability comes in cheers, happiness. Sometimes vulnerability even comes in anger. You know, it's all a part of a healing process, part of a healing journey that every person has to go through. You know, but for me, just the whole concept of vulnerability wasn't a thing from 7 to 24. It wasn't a thing. Unless it was when I'm talking to my mother, it wasn't a thing. I only knew my mama. That's why when I had the anesthesia and I panicked like that, what did I tell you to do?
Call your mama.
First thing I said, call my mama. Because I was panicking because it hadn't fully wore off. And my podcast thought I was paralyzed and thought I couldn't see. Because it hadn't fully wore off, so my eyelids wasn't strong enough to open all the way.
Didn't they say you was asking for your mom before they even brought me back to the back?
I think so. I think they said I was calling for her first, even though she wasn't there. And the crazy thing is, I don't know why didn't nobody just think to, hey, can you call her mom? She's asking for her mom. It took for, I think when you got back there, I was still calling for her. I was still saying, hey, call my mama, call my mama. And I think they was like, we bringing your fiance back. He's coming back. And I told that lady straight, I said, I don't give a damn about that. Call my mama. And it wasn't no dig on him. It's just that's my brain instantly goes to my mama. When trauma happens, it goes to my mama. Nothing personal against anybody, but that's my age group. When I got hurt in 8th grade year, I got hurt playing basketball. When the bitches took me down the way they did. When I was laying down on that ice and couldn't feel it, I kept mumbling, call my mama. Call my mama. Only one person heard me. That was my ex-born coon. That was my bestie. Hey, my bestie for the resty. Sabrina. She was the only one who heard me saying, call my mama.
I think that's a lot of people's natural reaction. Not gonna say everybody, because not everybody grew up with their mama.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's majority of people's thing is get my mama, call my mama.
I'm weak. Real quick before we end the show though, real quick, I do want to touch base on some of these comments. If I still got the screenshot of them, I'm gonna put it up. And if you see your name, you see your name. I ain't blurring it out. It is what it is. So, let me see. Because in so many ways, the comments was basically saying, I demasculate him. I'm too masculine. I want to be the man in the relationship. I don't want a husband. I want a wife.
It's funny how people know what you want out of your life.
What was the
that is just like
someone told him to enjoy his 30 seconds with his wife because it's over with after that. I said 30 seconds.
We've been together 5 years.
I'm like, damn, I can't get a whole minute.
Dang.
I'm trying to see. I might have deleted the comments out of here, but
I was about to say they usually say the man go 30 seconds.
Right. But in a nutshell, that's basically what they were saying in the comments. And like I said, if I can find them, I'll post them up still. They might be in the other phone that's recording us. That's probably why I can't find them. But so like I said, the viewers say I try to emasculate. Is that the word?
Demasculate.
What is emasculate?
I think that's
same as demasculate, but just different.
I think it's the opposite.
But anyway,
I know Oxford professor, English professor, not.
That's what they say. They insinuate that I rob him of his manhood. That I want to be in control of our relationship. That I don't understand what submissiveness is, because it's natural order for a man to be the leader and the woman to follow his lead and do what he say and da da this da da da. I'm like, that's the problem. That's why I don't like the term submissive, because y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. Being submissive has nothing to do with me weighing on his beck and foot every 5 minutes. Has nothing to do with me taking everything he's saying and just running with it. That's not what being submissive is supposed to be. But that's what y'all try to make it be, which is why I don't like the term submissiveness, because it's stupid.
And you know what? Stop it.
Get some help. No, but for real, because I be thinking to myself, like, what are y'all talking about? Y'all sound crazy to be saying stuff like that.
Hey,
and then
man.
then the crazy thing is, I love me some DeVal and Kadeem. I love how they roll. DeVal had pointed this out. He was like, I think people don't understand that sometimes in life, a man don't always have the answers. A woman will. And sometimes you gotta know when your partner is stronger at something than you are.
No,
Like,
that's facts.
you
That's
know,
facts.
like for cooking example. I know I'm shitty at cooking a steak. I can cook it, don't get me wrong. But I know it ain't gonna come out like he is. So why would I keep playing like I'm just the head chef in this household, knowing that there's some things I can't perfect that he can?
And that's what makes a couple a good bond and good for each other. You know what I'm saying? One person likes something that the other person has, and you bring them both together, and you know what I'm saying? You got something strong. She's good at some things. I'm good at some things. Together, we good at all things. No, I'm playing.
I'm weak.
But man, look, just because you have a keyboard, a phone, and access to the internet doesn't mean you always got to put your opinion out there.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck. Y'all can keep being as nasty, as cruel, as mean as y'all want to in them comments. I don't care.
It's not like it bothers us or anything.
I ain't gonna do nothing but laugh at them, like I've been doing.
And when she read them to me, I laugh at them too.
Cause I really be sitting there thinking to myself, like, do they really think that this bothers me?
Yes, a lot of people do.
Oh.
And like you said, with people talking about the submissiveness and all that, and they bring religion into it. Everybody's not the same religion.
That's what it is. They like to bring that up when I'm
like, even though we are both Christian.
Oh, that's what he said. No, I'm sorry. Sue Ann 1499 said.
Not Sue Ann.
Sue Ann 1499 said she wants to be the man in a relationship. Run! ! This fella right here, Maneo 2035. This how I know y'all just trolls. Cause who still puts numbers behind the account like that? Says she can't be his wife. The poor man looked like he wants to say something and that he doesn't agree, but afraid for his life. Scripture says the husband is the head of his wife/family, and whether you think or agree with that or not, that is order. Man came first. Woman was created for man. For man as a helpmate, you as a wife should submit to your husband. Don't lean on your own understanding of things. A lot of women misunderstand the difference between submission and control. Did you hear yourself when you typed that? Because you just sat there and told me basically, don't think for myself. Allow him to think for me.
I can barely think for myself.
I was like, okay. So I said, misogynist, I see. Y'all are funny. Because
hilarious, because
I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you know how crazy you sounded to tell me don't lean on my own understanding?
The hilarious.
Bro, you just told me to be dumb.
I don't want no dumb wife. Sorry,
Didn't it say woman was created from man? Do you not understand that all religions believe that, right?
There is a such thing as Lilith that was created at the same time as Adam.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who want to read the Bible but misinterpret all the words and don't read it all the way through and through and don't understand what they really are reading. Because for you to sit here and tell me I was created from him.
It's
Answer me this.
hilarious.
And I'm gonna stand on this hill and I'm gonna dive off of it when I go into the ground. If I'm still gonna be on it in my casket. Amen. Riddle me this. If woman came from man, why? Why oh why? And that's one of the chromosomes too. Why is it when you are in my belly, being created as a human, you're a girl before you're a boy?
Facts. Scientifically proven.
I'll wait. No answer, right? Cool. Anyway, listen.
And whoever you are, I forgot your name because it really don't matter what your name is.
It don't.
What are you in a relationship, Blair?
Yeah, he is. He got a wife.
You got a wife?
I say, well, at least I think that was his wife in the profile picture. I don't really care. Do what you want to do in your relationship, but stop trying to tell people to do in theirs.
Man.
That was the point of that episode, and y'all completely missed it. But anything else to add to it, Pac? Stop it. Get some help.
That's about it.
Well, listen, y'all, we appreciate y'all for letting us hold y'all ear for over an hour, I think, or maybe close to an hour. I truly hope that everyone who sees this takes what I said, whether it's with a grain of salt or take it like it's a good old juice or whatever you like to drink. And I hope your life flourishes. I hope you get the help you deserve. And I hope that I could be a blessing to anyone. I hope Pat can be a blessing to anyone. I hope that you reach out to somebody and hug them. Be vulnerable. Be loving. Be caring. But be careful who you be vulnerable with, because they will try to use it against you. As always and forever, be peaceful. Stay blessed. I have been your host, Miss Tay Nicole.
And be positive. It's a lot easier to be positive than negative. I'm your co-host, Pac Manley.
And together we are
With your old ass podcast.
Peace out.
Roll credits.
Hey, hey.
How you turn the circus song into
To the Dougie.
Yes.
Oh, that was